the Europeans before the arrival of the Arabs there. So Arabs, they went there with a great civilization, and it was nearly 90 years after the immigration of Prophet Muhammad, and 80 years after his death, that the Arabs extended their borders to Egypt. They come to Egypt, and Egypt was considered to be the gate to the rest of Africa, to Tunisia, to Algeria, and Morocco. And from Morocco and from the Strait of Gibraltar, they crossed to Spain or to Andalusia. So it was that time. It was a great historical time for them, and they should be proud of what the Arab contributions that they gave to them. And there's something also even in we should be proud of this. Look, when the Arabs, they went to European countries and they developed their life, because as I said, that it was a time of darkness and backwardness of that time, with just conflicting and between the aristocrats there about the power and about the throne and that. When the Arabs controlled there, they started to translate the Greek books, the most important Greek books there, and then also added to them the new knowledge of what they know. So they started a new time of enlightenment. So that is very important time for the arrival of the Arabs there. So in 90, after the immigration of Prophet Muhammad, or nearly 711 after the birth of Jesus, so Musa ibn Nusayr, he was the deputy or assistant of the Wali of Egypt, and he was the Wali of Africa during that time. He sent his General Tariq ibn Ziyad. He was Barbarian from the Berbers. The Berbers, or the Amazigh, that they live in the west desert in Egypt and Siwa. They are Amazigh, or they are Berbers. Also, they live in Tunisia, in Algeria, and Morocco, and all these parts. So, a leader of such a race is not Arabic, but he's Barbarian. And he led an army of entirely barbarians. They crossed the Strait of Gibraltar. Until now, the Strait of Gibraltar is bearing the name of Tariq himself, Jabal Tariq, Gibraltar. Okay? And after that, the strait is nearly 13 miles wide, so they went to Spain. In 2 years, the Arabs, they could conquer all Spain, and they got
So
all the
you
borders.
use the same term, conquer.
After that, okay. So at that time, you should also know something. The war during that time was just with the aristocrats of Spain, but the people themselves, they hated their rule, and they supported the Arab. So in such 2 years, the whole peninsula of Iberia or Spain, they became under the rule of the Arabs. And just a few years after that, the Arabs, they wanted to go to France. And we know the story of Toul Poitiers and Abdurrahman al-Ghafiqi, when he went there and he crossed the mountains of Pyrenees in France and near to be in Paris, and then they were defeated by Charles Martel. That is very famous story in 750. They say that if Charles Martel, he did not stop, not defeated the Arab, so Islam will spreading in all Europe after that, and in Rome we'll see mosques and lots of things. So it's something very rich of stories and what of the Arabs they made. Also, even the Orientalists themselves and the European historians, they talk about the tolerance of the Arab according to these people, and the peak of the Jewish communities, it was during the Arab control or the Arabic domination in Spain. So we can know lots of great philosophers, Christians and Jews, who can forget Moses of Maimon, or the Maimonides. He is the author of the Talmud of the Jews. So he was grown during that time, and we can talk about him because he is a kind of link between the Andalusian and the Egypt, because he came to Egypt and lived and became the doctor of Saladin. So he's a Jewish, and he became doctor of Saladin and the whole Ayyubid family.
I don't know, whenever I hear this, you know, of course I feel proud, but again I feel, you know, I don't know what happened to us, because it must be on the contrary if we've talked about what is happening now, right now, because all what you're saying, it proved that Egypt has been the beacon of culture for Europe at that time. And we have some, for example, names, just as you mentioned, you can elaborate on this, and also Ibn Khaldun, for example. And I think it is very important to start from this.
Okay, so I share your your feelings about this, but I think the difference of the people, yes, they are Arabs, they were Muslims, but different people, different characters, people that they want to show the greatness of Islam and to show the principles of Islam by its ideal ways, okay, not peoples of that time. So I think we have verses in Quran, إن الله لا يغير ما بقوم حتى يغيروا ما بأنفسهم. So God will change the people, but till they or except that they should change their intentions from themselves. So this is the difference. They are Muslims, they are Arabs, but they are not like us now. We are corrupted by lots of things, and also we don't show the greatness of our religion that we should be proud of this. So if we have some examples about the link, the cultural relations between Egypt and Spain or Andalusia at that time, we have three great figures of that time. And I think at the top of all of them, we have Ibn Khaldun. Ibn Khaldun, he is originally from Andalusia, and whole family, and his grandfather Khaldun, who is called Khalid. And then, because they have a special special way for the names, Khalid, he became Khaldun. Abdu, he became Abdul, and something like that, very famous nomination in Spain. So he originally from there, and then he came to Egypt and lived the biggest part of his life in Egypt, and he became the founder of the sociology. He's the founder. All the theories of the sociology and the urbanization of the man, and also he brought lots of theories that even the Europeans themselves, they still use till our time. Ibn Khaldun, he lived his the rest
Can
of
he
his
be
life.
compared, for instance, to Karl Marx?
Yes, but I think was different dimension, because Ibn Khaldun, he had a great universal contributions, because all the theories, okay, of sociology, and most of them, they stank to Ibn Khaldun. Okay, Karl Marx is just for the communism, so it is something very different. Yes, a founder of communism, but tell me, if we compare between sociology and other science and communism, okay, and the people who benefited of sociology and the theories of Ibn Khaldun, and also who benefited of the theories of Karl Marx. So I think big difference between both of them. Ibn Khaldun, he became the judge of Egypt, or the high judge, or the superior judge of Egypt. He lived the rest of his life in Egypt till he was dead. And also he is he made lots of great contributions in the history. We have the introduction of Ibn Khaldun, Al-Muqaddamah. We have the history of Ibn Khaldun, was considered to be one of the main historical sources that we are depending now. It is of 60 volumes, and every volume we talk about 1,000 pages. So we talk about a book of the history of Ibn Khaldun that about 60,000 pages about the history from the beginning of the man till his time during the 14th century. So it is a great example between the mix and the cultural link between Andalusia and Spain, and also with Egypt. Another example, we have Al-Imam Al-Qurtubi. Qurtubi, it is from Cordoba, which was the capital of the Arabic kingdom in Spain. And we know the story when the time of persecution that started, because the Catholics there, they persecuted and tortured the Arabs, and they obliged them, if you are not converted to Christianity, you should leave. So, whether Muslims and the Jews. So, during similar time, Al-Imam Al-Qurtubi and Musa ibn Maymun, okay, Musa ibn Maymun was a Jewish, okay, Jewish. So, both of them, they left Andalusia, and they crossed Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, and came to Egypt, and both of them lived in Egypt in a great time. So, Imam Qurtubi,
a Muslim and a Jew traveling to this from a country to another. What does this imply?
I think that's implying, and it's showing the great coexistence and the tolerance of Islam. Because Musa ibn Maymun and lots of other Jewish philosophers and scientists, they had a great role during that time. And even when Musa ibn Maymun, he came to Egypt, it was during the Ayyubid time, and he became the doctor of Saladin. You imagine that? A Jewish doctor, he became the doctor of Saladin, of his royal palace and his family, and even for the kings or sultans after that. That is a great time or for Islam, and we should be proud of this. And the people that they criticize the Muslim and they say that they are violent and they don't respect the other, I think just an example like that of Musa ibn Maymun, who came to Egypt and he became the doctor of the great Sultan of the Muslims, and this is a great example of the coexistence and the respect between the whole, between the Muslims and the other. The respect of the other, it is one of the main principles of Islam. Okay, you should not hate the other, even that he is not a Muslim or with the non-Muslims. Should respect him with his religion. We have lots of verses and traditions in Quran with the Sunnah of Prophet Muhammad that urges the Muslim to respect the other. Also, if we
Your final, for your final comments in this regards, please.
Yeah.
We have